Hey, there we go. Hello to everyone that is tuning in to yet another one of these client interviews. Today, I'm joined by one of our wonderful clients, Brad, who is another silent shark who pops up out of the blue talking about how much he smashed the program. And yeah, it's going to be a great interview because Brad, we didn't really hear much from him in the school group, where he's done really well with the program. And it's going to be good to hear about his results. So, Brad, obviously, me and you just spoke before we started recording. For the people that are watching the interview right now, why don't you introduce, who you are, who you serve, and ultimately the transformation you deliver to the people that you serve.
Sure. So yeah, name's Brad. I'm 23 years old from England. So we mainly work with renewable energy installers in the UK. So more specifically, ones that offer government funding to install things like solar panels, heat pumps, etc. Kind of the main way we help them is just through lead generation, so online advertising through into a CRM, and then we also have a call center as well. So a lot of the time for the clients, we actually call up the leads, qualify them, and then book them in for a survey as well. So try and take care of it as much as possible for them.
Love it. And to paint a picture in the viewers' minds, Brad, where was the business before joining the program compared to where it is now?
Yeah, so when I first joined 6 months ago, I was about 15K a month in pounds, that is. And it was kind of a little bit up and down. So some months was a bit more than that, some months was a bit less, and I was kind of just stuck at that level. But this month, so in September, should do around 35K in revenue. And just yeah, a bit more comfortable in terms of doing the sales, appointment booking, service delivery all at the same time, kind of having it all flowing together, because previously I'd sign a few clients, then I'd be delivering the service and sort of forget about booking appointments and sales, and then it was just a little bit up and down. Whereas now that doesn't seem to be too much of an issue.
Yeah, amazing. And before you joined the program, Brad, obviously you were already in a fairly established position where it's like 15K per month GBP, like you said, which is great. What were the key problems you were facing that really prompted you to join the program? Because there's a lot of people in your position, for example, that'll just coast along. So what really triggered you to go, right, I need, to find some help to get me to the next level?
Yeah, so it'd been a kind of a few months that I was stuck at that level, and I kind of realized I was at a bit of a point where I couldn't scale any further. So I was kind of actively looking for courses or mentorship programs that would kind of basically just get me to scale the agency quicker and just provide me with all the systems and kind of things around that to improve it. So yeah, after doing a little bit of looking around, obviously found EasyGrow.
Yeah, love it. And with the sort of like the bottlenecks you were facing, could you expand on those? Like what specific issues were you facing? Was it appointment setting, sales, or like were there others?
So I'd probably say the main one was sales. So yeah, kind of having a process in place and actually being able to close people on one call, rather than having to keep following up with them and kind of things around that. But it was more also as well just doing them all at the same time, like I said. So I could close sales, I could book appointments, I could deliver a good service, but it was just trying to put all three together. That kind of had me stuck at kind of 15K a month because, as I said, I was focused on the sales, and then client results might drop off, and vice versa. So it was just kind of really finding a way to put them all together.
Yeah, perfect. And before like you joined the program, what did your actual sales process look like? Like, was there a process or was it like gung ho, go through a script and after that follow up and hope you
Uh,
close?
so yeah, there was a process. So I'd just kind of ask general questions about what they did to generate leads, and then obviously do a pitch at the end. But it was nowhere near as kind of structured and um, as kind of what EasyGrow offers. And then, as you say, when I got to the end of the call, I didn't really have any kind of scripts for replying to objections or being able to close a deal. So as soon as they said, "Yeah, I need some time to think about it," or any other objection, as you said, I kind of just say yeah, okay, and then try and follow up with them over the next couple of weeks. And sometimes it did turn into a sale, but most of the time it didn't. So kind of the sales module on EasyGrow, where it goes through how to handle objections and kind of getting in the mentality that you should sort of handle the objections for sort of at least 10-15 minutes rather than just leave it, was kind of really helpful for me as well.
Yeah, that's like one of the like we even practice it in-house where it's like, in our own team where even if the guy doesn't close or whatever, you are staying there minimum.
Yeah,
15, 20 minutes. Like it doesn't matter, you
yeah.
know, if you don't get past the finish line, the bare minimum is you just keep him on the Zoom. And we need to see you trying to throw the kitchen sink at him because then you're actually, you know, practicing that muscle of, fighting back, if that makes sense, for their own good. So yeah, that's good stuff, man. And how exactly, you know, does the sales process look now compared to before? Is it a lot more structured, like objection handling process in place? Do you still do follow-up deals, or like is that a thing of the past? Like, how's it look?
Yes, it's definitely a lot more structured. So I have all the questions that I run through obviously listed down. The pitch is something that obviously is a lot more structured as well. So I used to kind of spend, yeah, like 15 minutes rambling on about how I set up the adverts and whatnot, whereas now it's a lot shorter and more concise. And then yeah, I've got kind of the objection handling sheet as well. So there's like 10 common objections that I always get where I've got
Nice.
a follow-up, a response for it to try and handle it. So definitely sort of, yeah, closing a lot more people or at least getting a deposit taken on the call rather than before where it was just kind of let them go off the call and then I'm just trying to call them up and email them for the next week or so. Kind of at the minimum now, it's a deposit or at least booking a second time for a call rather
Yeah.
than just letting them sort of disappear.
Yeah, nice, man. And you know, with regards to what you were mentioning about just balancing the free, where it's like, right, you know how to book appointments, you know how to sell to an extent because you scaled up to where you got to, right, at 15K before joining, and you know how to fulfill. Um, how did the program help you figure out how to balance those things compared to when you were juggling everything and it was like you told me it was hard to, sell, then you fell off sales for a bit to fulfill, but then when you're fulfilling, you got back on sales, but then fulfillment may have dropped. How have things changed in that side in terms of balancing everything and what specifically like did you do?
Yeah, well, when I was going through the self-transcendence module, there was one of the videos talked about like oscillating up and down. So
Yep.
like you'd have like your like bare minimum, and then you also have like your ceiling as well. And that was probably one of the ones that resonated with me quite a lot because as soon as I sort of hit 15K a month, I'd be like, right, don't need to focus on sales anymore. I'll just kind of focus on the clients that I've got, and then a few would drop off and it would go down towards 10, and I'd be like, oh shit, I need to do some sales. So I was always just all in on one or the other rather than just balancing them out. So that was probably what brought attention to it for me as to why I wasn't actually making more money each month. And then in terms of actually the solution, it was just kind of hiring people. I was always quite scared to outsource things and hire the correct people. But now I've done that. I don't really get involved too much in the service delivery anymore. So that obviously
Nice.
freed up most of my time to focus on sales and other bits around that. So yeah, it was kind of just being made aware of why I wasn't actually making any progress, and then actually kind of using the module to make the right hires as well.
Yeah. And that's like the key thing where a lot of people they would have gone straight to like the hiring side of things without actually understanding themselves, like, why is this happening?
Yeah,
Why am I allowing this to happen? Because when you figure that out, it's not going to happen again. Whereas if you go straight to hiring, that behavior may pop up again without you even realizing.
yeah, yeah, exactly that. I was a bit as I say, scared to outsource things. I thought people
Yeah,
would be able to do it as well. Results might drop off, but as soon as I kind of let go of that, I just had a lot more time to kind of balance everything.
nice. How difficult was it just doing the hiring to get to the point where you can balance things a lot more healthily? Like, was it relatively easy, or like did you face any problems with that?
It was quite easy in the end. So the only thing is just SOPing everything. I think kind of when I made the first hire or two, it was just kind of trying to train them up through like Zoom calls and stuff. Whereas now, if I ever hire someone, everything's sort of written down with a video to explain
Yeah,
it. Have a regular catch-up call. So I think as long as you provide the right support and training for the people you're hiring, then it shouldn't be something that to worry about or something that puts me off anymore.
yeah. Perfect. Amazing, man. When you joined the program, Brad, obviously there's a lot of content to go through. And you obviously a decent point in business. How did you approach it? Was there any particular videos that you went to first? Any strategies or modules that you said, right, I'm going to prioritize that? Talk to me about day one of the program. Like, what did you do?
So yeah, the only modules I've actually completed in full so far are the first three. So the one acquisition genesis, the self transcendence one, and the one on sales.
Nice.
So I went through those three first, and then to be honest, from that, I then jumped straight into the one for paid ads because it was something I was doing anyway for my agency. So I used that to sort of improve what I was doing there. And then I only just now I'm actually getting through to the outbound stuff. So I'm setting up the Terminator Loom and DM Sorcery. So yeah, I haven't even really kind of scratched the surface in terms of actually setting up the
Yeah.
kind of appointment booking systems so far. It's kind of mostly just been through the first three modules that I've made most of the progress.
Yeah, quality. And I think you mentioned in school that acquisition genesis like played a big part in sort of transforming your approach to business. If you can just open up on that module, that'd be great because I think it's mentioned quite a lot with a lot of people that scale up in these interviews. Like from your experience, like what did that module do to you in terms of how you approach the business after?
Yeah, so the first couple of videos are probably particularly useful. It's just kind of nailing down your offer and your pricing. So basically, as soon as I joined, I think I almost doubled what I was charging, and kind of my sales didn't really seem to like move that much, which was quite nice. And then also putting a guarantee in place. So all of the guarantees about like risk reversal and money back always used to kind of scare me a little bit. But kind of now having it in place where I'm quite confident I can deliver the results, and even if I do have to like refund the occasional client, it still works out that I'm making more money or something that I realized as well. And then also just all of the theory around booking appointments and why people book was stuff that I was kind of aware of before, but perhaps hadn't been explained in like, as much detail as it goes into. So it was just quite useful, not just for kind of what I do with the agency, but just in general to see why people book appointments, like the psychology behind it, the structure behind it. It just kind of makes it quite easy to figure out how to book appointments and why something is working and why it isn't.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm sure you can echo these thoughts, Brad, but it's like with most programs, they tend to just provide the solutions, which is perfectly fine. Like we do the same thing. Like you can provide DM sorcery, ads, sales training, whatever, but if you don't know you know, if you don't know the reason for these things, the reason why the messaging is sent this way, the reason why the follow-ups are set up this way, the reason why they're going to respond to this, etc., etc., you're just copy and pasting
Yeah.
like a sheep, and eventually these strategies are going to run dry.
Yeah, I think with the program as well, it provides all like the document where you can track all the data and how to troubleshoot things as well. So I think it's quite easy that if something's not working, you can quite clearly see it. You can see it all in the numbers, and then also you can see what is it? Always a document saying why it might not be working, so you can check it as well. So as you say, it's not like you just copy and paste an email script, and then when it doesn't work, you're kind of out of ideas. You can quite easily um, improvise and kind of make your own adjustments as well.
Yeah, that's it. All about finding what works for your market. So yeah, great stuff, man. One thing I want to touch on, you mentioned like you doubled your price straight away after that module, and your sales like you didn't notice any change in terms of a dip. You just kept just kept going up, right?
Yeah, so with the price, I used to charge, I think 950 a month, and I always used to worry like when you go above 1,000, like people just think it's too expensive.
Yeah,
And I think yeah, once I added in like the guarantee and kind of improved my offer a bit, I increased it I think about 1,700.
yeah,
And I just noticed when I got to the end of the sales calls, like I wasn't getting objections saying it's too expensive and whatnot. It was kind of the same objections I was getting before. So um, yeah, that was quite nice to be able to not really do anything and
yeah.
basically almost double the kind of the price that I'm charging people just because I had kind of this idea that if it was over £1,000 then it was just going to be too expensive or people would just say it's too much.
Yeah, and another misconception that people typically have is like, and you may or may not have had the same thing, but it's like if I have to increase my pricing, I need to add more services and
Yeah,
whatever it is. Actually, it's like no, it's actually we'll keep your service as it is. All we're gonna do is just lean on our confidence on what we can guarantee. If
yeah,
you got a proven track record, then you should be able to confidently do that, and that alone will allow you to double, even triple your prices. I wouldn't be surprised if you'd be able to do another price increase with the rate that you're scaling at, because it's quite a big jump going from 15K to like I think projected 35K this month.
yeah.
Um, you'd be surprised.
Yeah, exactly. And I think I only recently started adding in the call center as well, so phoning leads on
Oh,
behalf of
yeah.
clients. So I'm probably planning to increase it a bit further as well over the next couple of months once that gets kind of working.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. We'll have to do a part two when you go beyond what you where you're at now, man. So yeah, great stuff. In terms of acquisition, Brad, this will be quite interesting because you've obviously leveraged the program to scale up primarily just by improving the overall team systems in terms of hiring, your approach to business, and fixing your sales process basically. So with the appointment setting side of things, it seems like you already had that unlocked. What do you currently do to generate those appointments? Is it just paid ads, or do you have anything else in the mixer?
So mainly paid ads at the moment. Get quite a lot of inbound inquiries through my Facebook and LinkedIn because I post content on there quite a bit.
Nice.
Quite a few referrals as well from current clients, which is quite nice. And then at the moment, I'm setting up the Terminator Loom and the DM Sorcery because when I first started out, I used to book most of my appointments through cold email and cold DMs, but it's something that I haven't really touched in quite a while now. So
Yeah.
I'll be hopefully booking quite a few appointments through those two avenues as well soon.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun because you've obviously got quite a few case studies, I'm assuming. So it's
Yeah, so there's quite a few testimonials and case studies now, so that also makes sales
yeah.
quite a lot
I
easier.
was yeah, I was literally it's funny, like I was literally on a coaching call just before this, and our strategies work without you having to leverage case studies or testimonials. But like when you add those in, it's like steroids where it's
Yeah,
like you can say anything. You could say, oh, hey, I'm just having a chocolate bar. And
yeah,
then and you're just showing them like result after result after result. They're like, what? What the hell is this? So I know that sounds ridiculous, by the way, but the point I'm making is
yeah,
whatever first sentence you say, it can be irrelevant to an extent if your results are so good and they're appearing on the different, whether you do Terminator Loom or DM Sorcery, and you'll know this, Brad, where you go through it. Like once you have the results and case studies, it just goes a massively long way. So yeah,
yeah.
great stuff. Brad, talk to me about the business structure, man. So how did it look before you joined compared to now in terms of like team structure, how many clients you're at, all that good stuff?
So yeah, when I first joined, I probably had around I think 10-ish clients, I'd say 10 to 15, and then I had one team member. So it was a media buyer who just managed all the like the day-to-day of the client accounts. Whereas now it's at around about 20 to 25 clients and got two media buyers, one person who's just started in the appointment setting for DM Sorcery, two sort of salespeople who've handled all the appointment booking on behalf of clients, and then there'll be a couple of VAs soon as well for the Terminator Loom side of things as well. And then hopefully over the next few months hire a closer as well to take all the sales calls that are coming in. But yeah, that'll probably be the last thing that I end up outsourcing.
Yeah, that's your balance achieved. You went from
Yeah,
a team of two to a team of I lost count.
yeah, I think it's yeah, I think about 6 or 7 at the moment.
That's amazing. So yeah, that's crazy. In the space of 6 months as well, even the client growth you've had, you went from, did you say 10 to 15 to
Yeah, it's
20?
around 10 to 15. I think it's about 20 to 25 now.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. So yeah, that's killer stuff, man. And like talk to me about, how version one of Brad looks compared to version two of Brad, where, when you before you joined the program, right, you may have had some limiting beliefs and whatnot. You may have had some bad habits, like, going up and down with the sales and fulfillment and stuff like that. Talk to me about how that version compares to the version I'm speaking to now, that's running a team of like 6 or 7, that's continuing to scale, that's not stopping anytime soon. Like, what sort of beliefs did you have to break? What habits did you have to integrate? Like, what really changed for you, man?
Yeah, I think most of it just being made aware of things. So, for example, what the video I mentioned about oscillating to kind of like your floor and then your ceiling, I think I started to really notice that after watching the video. Like when I'd hit 15 to 20K a month, I would kind of become a little bit complacent, stop doing as much outreach, find it hard to concentrate and things like that. Whereas now if that happens, I'm quite aware of what's happening and why it's happening, so it's a bit easier to control it. So I think it's just being aware of kind of what was holding me back and just making sure that I'm always conscious of it and kind of working on it as well.
Yeah, perfect, man. And it's like the whole identity shift and the mindset side of things. It's something that a lot of people overlook. especially beginners, because they just assume that tactics and strategies are the main thing.
Yeah.
Obviously, it is a big vocal point, but like, what I find refreshing with people in your position, even though you're already an established point, right? You still took the time to do the mindset work, which then ultimately resulted in you finding out the faulty belief of the not faulty belief, but the oscillation of doubt
Yeah.
thing that you then figured out, and then right once that's figured out, you know how to scale.
Yeah, with the beliefs one as well, I always thought about the one call closer sales as well. I always think it's
There you
just
go.
something that doesn't happen, and like it just comes across as really pushy if you're trying to handle objections and stuff like that. So yeah, it was more so just being made aware of things rather than a massive shift in me as a person, because it just allows me to understand why I'm sort of feeling resistant to things and other things like that.
Yeah, amazing, man. Brad, I don't know if you remember this because obviously your call was quite a while back. Whoever you spoke to on the sales call you had, you would obviously have told them the goals that you wanted to hit. In terms, do you remember what those goals were in terms of like what you wanted your life to look like and stuff like
No,
that?
I can't remember.
So, I was gonna ask, like, have you hit those goals now, or do you still got some goals to attack? But a caveat to that, I guess, have you taken the time to just reflect on everything? Because it's been a bit of a whirlwind where you've had these 6 months and you've changed from a identity standpoint in figuring out why is things keep going up and down to basically turning your business from a 15K per month, not it's at an established point, but it wasn't consistent, to now a 35K per month, and set to go beyond that, consistent, well-oiled machine. Like, talk to me, like, have you taken the time to process that, or
Yeah,
you still
I
in
think
the
I've
trenches?
had a couple of sales calls before I actually bought the program.
Oh,
I think the first one I was at, I only had like two clients. So I was only doing sort of 1 or 2K a month.
okay.
And I can't remember exactly, but I think I said about 20K a month was my goal.
Yeah,
And
smashed it.
I think that must have been about, at least a year ago, probably a year and a half. And then obviously ended up actually buying the program. So yes, in the last sort of 18 months since I started the agency, it has grown quite quickly. And as I say, particularly in the last 6 months, I feel like um, everything's coming together a bit, and I'm starting to find everything a bit easier in terms of
Yeah,
how to actually scale and break out of plateaus and things like that.
yeah. Quality. How's life changed, if it has, or is it still the same Brad cracking
Still the
on with work?
same, to be honest. So yeah,
Everyone tells me that, man, like about
I,
themselves as well.
yeah, I've been on a few more holidays this year.
There you go.
That's about it.
No, that's good. So you're still locked in, still working, still cracking on as normal.
Yeah, yes, still all normal, but yeah, I've treat myself to a few holidays.
Well, there you go, man. Yeah, it's funny. I always like asking that question because it's an interesting one when usually with the reps, they'll talk to you about what goals you want to hit and whatnot, and then it comes to this interview, and I follow up on that. Have you enjoyed yourself and whatnot? And they always tell me, it's like, I haven't even thought about it. No, I'm just
Yeah,
not enjoying working. I haven't really sat down and reflected. So no, I'm glad you enjoyed the the extra holidays though, man. It's
yeah,
great stuff. Touching on this topic, Brad. Obviously, you went from 15K per month to 35K per month. Obviously, you had the first sales call you done a while back where 20K was a goal. You've obviously smashed that. Talk to me about what your next goals are and ultimately what's keeping you, working and chasing the next thing. Because you could easily fall back into the trap of maintaining or just doing the up and down curve at 35K
yeah.
mark now. So I'd love to hear your perspective on, what you're gunning for now.
Yeah, well, the main one is to hit 40K by the end of the year, which hopefully you
Brilliant.
should do. And then kind of the big one that I set was hit 50K, and have about 8 team members. So basically not be involved in any of the sales or appointment booking or service delivery, just kind of be able to manage things rather than actually having to, be in the day-to-day of it. So I think 50K per month was a number I set for that. So probably, try and get there at some point and then see after that.
Yeah, no, I reckon that would be easy work if you're still doing ads and you're going to do outbound with all the case studies and whatnot that you have. So, yeah, to be honest, depending on how much volume you do, you might gun it before the end of the year, which I know is a big reach, but it's the
Yeah.
final quarter. You never know.
Yeah, we'll see. December's always a tough one because people, just log off for Christmas and
True.
push it back to the new year. So we'll see. But
Yeah,
yeah, definitely try and hit 40 by the end of the year.
yeah. Great stuff. And Brad, with obviously now you got a team and whatnot. One thing I wanted to ask is just like your hours of work. So obviously before when you were doing mainly you had a media buyer and then it was just you. What did your work schedule look like compared to now? Like, are you breathing now? Or, were you breathing then? And by that I mean like
So
were you
yeah,
able
so
to
so when I first started my agency, I actually had a full-time job as well. So
oh
I hit 10K a month when it was just me, and I still had like a 9 till 6 I was doing
wow.
as well. So it's definitely, if I want to take more time off now, it's a lot easier. Um, but I probably still work a similar hours now as I did then. It's just obviously I get more if I do want to take half a day off to go play golf or something.
Yeah.
I can do that because it's not just me. So it's a little bit less, yeah, stressful in terms of clients asking you for things than you have to do it, even though you've got sales calls to take. Whereas now I can just put that on Trello for the team and then they take care of it. So still working the same hours, but it's more out of choice rather than me having to do it to keep things going.
Yeah, killer stuff, man. And one thing I wanted to just touch on is the niche you're in because it's very, very unique. Where it's like typically when people start up their agencies, they're just generating leads or surveys for like
Yeah.
roofers, med spa, the usual stuff.
Yeah.
Like, how did you come to decide like your niche that you're in? So if you give people I think you already did this, but if you can explain what the eco stuff is, the surveys and how it works, like that'd be and how you came across it, that'd be
Yeah. So yeah, I started out in solar, so I was just generating
yeah.
solar leads for companies, and then there's a couple of government schemes in the UK that basically provide funding to homes to improve their energy efficiency. So there's one called the Boiler Upgrade Scheme, and then one called the Eco4 scheme. So they basically provide homes money towards energy upgrades like solar panels and insulation. So it's funded by the government and completely free to the homeowner, which makes it quite easy to create an offer from and get leads. So basically, a lot of the companies that were installing solar also did this scheme as well. So kind of heard about it through that, and sort of fell into it. So yeah, it's quite a good one because, as I say, the customers don't necessarily need to actually pay for anything; they just need to qualify for the funding. So in terms of there's not sort of a bottleneck with the clients not being able to close the leads or close the sales because they don't really need to sell anything. It's more just kind of our end actually being able to find the homes that qualify for the funding.
Yeah. Super, super unique because when you popped up with the wind post and then I circled back, I'm like, who the hell is Brad serving? And what is he selling? Like, what the hell is this? So,
Yeah.
yeah, no, that's great stuff, man. You've really found a proper market there. So, yeah, that's killer. Brad, as we wrap up the interview, typically there's two groups of people that watch these interviews. The first of which is current students and the second of which are probably clients like your not clients but potential customers like yourself where they may have had doubts they reservations and about the program and whatnot. So starting off with current students, the current students that are watching this, what are the best pieces of advice that you can give for them to succeed?
The main thing I would say is just persevere with it. I think there's a lot of videos to get through, and it takes a lot of time to actually kind of get through them and start implementing the things. So it can be a little bit time consuming. You might get, a month, 2 months in, you've not actually really seen any results. So I'd say just, yeah, kind of stick at it. Make sure that you set up one of the appointment setting systems as soon as you can. But also make sure not to neglect the first few modules, because I think if you understand the acquisition genesis and self-transcendent stuff, and kind of keep refreshing your memory with it, then the rest of it becomes a lot easier and a lot easier to see results even without actually using the system. So I'd just say yeah, make sure not to ignore the first three modules, but then also just to make sure that you stick at it, because as long as you do everything properly as it's being laid out, you will start to see results.
Yeah, there we go. And for people that have yet to become a client, Brad, maybe they've still yet to book a sales call. Maybe they just have natural reservations. Is this just another program? Is just the same as this, that? Again, almost like you're speaking to yourself probably when you had reservations before joining. Um, what would you say to those people based on your experience working with us, man?
Yeah, I would say as long as you've got the time and the dedication to actually give to your agency and it's something you're serious about, I say there's no reason not to join. I mean, I probably made my money back within the first 3 videos just by doubling my price. So that's without actually implementing any of the systems or anything.
Yeah.
And I was already at 15K a month. So I mean, if you're at less than that, then it's definitely something worth doing. You'll learn lots. And yeah, the only thing that would probably hold you back is if you don't actually have the time, or if you're not actually serious about kind of growing your agency. But I think if you've got those two things, then it's definitely a worthwhile investment, and you wouldn't struggle to get a return on it.
Yeah. There we go. There we go. So yeah, final question, Brad. Where can people find you if they wanted to just connect, see what's what, see your agency, all that good stuff?
Yeah, LinkedIn will probably be the best place. So it's just Brad Clark, and it will say owner of BLC Promotions in my bio. So yeah, if you connect with me on there, that's probably the best place to get in touch, I'd say.
Perfect. Amazing. So yeah, we'll leave Brad's LinkedIn in the YouTube description below. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the client interview. I'm going to mark this as part one because Brad, again, he's managed to scale to this level purely just by applying the theory on how to approach the business in terms of balancing things and just shifting his mindset on understanding why he kept on having dips, and just by executing a sales process that
Yeah.
involves him handling objections. So that is what allowed Brad to go from 15 to 35K per month. Now he's going to set up the outbound systems. When are you going to have them launched, Brad?
Should be over the next couple of weeks. So, I mean, the
So
sorcery is ready to go. I just need to hire an appointment setter, and Terminator Looms is almost there as well. So
there we go.
it should be
So
ready to go.
keep an eye out for part two. Obviously, if Brad is kind enough and not busy, not that busy to do another round, it will be really good. We'll crack on when he's at probably beyond 50K per month, to be honest. That'd be a good landmark. But yeah, keep an eye out for that. And yeah, as I wrap this one up, if you are someone that is has watched this interview and you enjoyed it, please do watch the other client interviews that we have. This is the 79th one that we've done to date. I'm keeping count of these. So yeah, check out the other interviews with the different niches. Again, we help agencies, coaches, and consultants, and you can just get a feel for the different perspectives, different experiences that people have had. Not just Brad, but other people as well. And yeah, I'd recommend to anyone that is watching this, just do your necessary due diligence, right? You know, if you watch this interview and you still have a bit of doubts as to whether this works, be sure to check out the other interviews. And we've obviously got a ton of results and whatnot, but you know, I always tell people to go and watch interviews so you can hear the full thing. And it will be rare for you to assume, oh, that screenshot, that this interview is a paid actor or something like that, with some screenshots. You can say, oh, that screenshot's fabricated. So it'll be hard to get pay for 78 interviews. So yeah, be sure to watch those interviews, different stories, different results. And you'll find them really valuable in terms of understanding how the program can work for different business models. And yeah, feel free to book a call with us. One thing I would say, and it sort of echoes what Brad ended with, where Brad said, if you're serious and you're willing to put in the work with your business, please do feel free to book in a call. However, if you're someone, and Brad, I'm sure you'd agree with this, I say the exact same line to every other client I interview. If you're someone that wants a magic pill to success, where you join a program and bang, immediately you scale to 30K a month with no work required, with no challenges required, then this is not the program for you. Okay. I want to be very transparent with that. You know, I know how a lot of programs and whatnot are marketed, and especially for the younger generation, you can assume that these programs are, you buy it and you don't have to do any work. I will let you know that there is work involved. Okay. We provide you with the blueprint, we provide you with the support, and we provide you with the framework. And if we're willing to follow that framework and execute, there's no reason why you can't see results just like Brad did. Okay. However, if you're not willing to do the work and you think this is going to be a get rich quick solution, I would not recommend it. If you do find a get rich quick solution, send it my way because I'll join you on that. But yeah, that's enough from me. Feel free to book a call with us, guys. Worst case, if you're not a fit, our team will let you know. And the best case, you may end up joining and achieving results just like Brad has. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this interview. I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers. Bye.